You're listening to a Bored to Death Mandocast, talking Disney Plus's show, The Mandalorian, in easily digestible chunks.
Hello again, ladies and gentlemen, and other assorted gender assignations. Welcome back to a Bored to Death Mandocast. This is going to be our Season 2 Wrapcast. I am Jay Winger, being joined by
Chris.
And we have also
Rude.
Zeke.
And yeah, Rode was here when we did the finale. Zeke, I actually just a couple days ago turned him on to The Mandalorian and sat him down and had him watch the very first episode. And as I predicted, you got hooked.
Nothing like your friend going, "Hey, just watch the first episode. If you don't like it, you don't have to watch it." There should be a hint when they say, "Just watch the first one."
3 days later, it's all over.
Yep.
Didn't take long for him to finish his own personal binge.
Yep. So yeah, he binged the whole series in like 3 days, and watched the last episode at the same time that Chris did.
Yeah, there was a little bit of a delay on my part that, because of work.
That dreaded thing called work.
Yes, that ruins my schedule. Hence,
ruins everyone's schedule.
But when leading up to me watching the episode, I literally had to avoid Facebook because the second I started seeing spoilery type stuff, posts and stuff, I was like, nope, staying off of this until I watch the episode.
Always a good idea when it comes to The Mandalorian because everybody's watching it.
Well, that goes with anything. Like, I remember when Walking Dead, every single time a new episode came out, you had to stay off of social media until you watched that new episode. But nowadays, you don't even get that anymore with Walking Dead.
Yeah. So, Zeke, you're, as somebody that's new to the Mandocast now, give us your impressions of the series as a whole.
I definitely enjoy it. The one thing I was complaining about, I like Star Wars. Do not get me wrong when I say this, but I'm so tired of only good or only evil. You're only either a Jedi or a Sith. When I know in the lore there are gray Jedis, and I would like to see a gray Jedi.
Gray Jedi were in Legends canon, so they're not canon presently yet. But yeah, they did exist in the old expanded universe before the Disney takeover.
I still go off of that stuff. I don't care about the
That's
retcon.
fair. But they're recanonizing a lot of stuff from that, with the Dark Troopers and everything. So
yes,
no matter how you look at it, she is a gray Jedi.
Yeah.
So
but yeah,
you have one roaming around right now.
Yeah, and the fact you also sort of commented that it's also not just focusing on the Jedi all the time. That this is more lower down, as it were.
Yes, we don't need all the Jedis to take all the glory. Let's watch some cool people shoot people. That's kind of cool.
That's what you get in Solo and Rogue One, because with Solo they redeemed Han Solo in that film by letting him shoot first in one scene. He knows what I'm talking.
Yeah.
Jay knows what I'm talking about.
We've been waiting for this for a long time.
Because George Lucas, with his little re-edit of A New Hope,
The special editions.
Yeah, where he made Greedo shoot first and then Han shot him second. But if you watch the original cut of the film, Han shoots first.
The release edition.
Yes.
It was always Han. Always.
Yep. But you enjoyed it then, Zeke.
I would not enjoy it if I did not binge 16 episodes in 3 days.
Like he probably would have just sit there, but been like, all right, the show's got to get good at some point.
Yeah.
We're not talking about Arrow season 1. We're talking about the stuff got good right after episode 1. Okay. Though I will say, I think the fun part was coming from a hard day's work, coming in at 11 o'clock at night, going up to Chris's room, like, hey, let's watch the last 2 episodes. All right, we're going downstairs. Like, we should keep watching, but we both got work in the morning.
Chris, so your thoughts on the last episode at the very least.
Oh my God. So, when they did the whole scene with Grogu doing the meditation scene where he's trying to use the Force to
Golden Child,
Golden Child, and essentially have a Jedi contact him. The real question was, which living Jedi is going to contact him? Because not only do you have Luke Skywalker in the universe, because we all know that this takes place after Return of the Jedi, but you still have Ezra Bridger.
Especially after the Thrawn name drop.
Yes. We all know that he lived at the end of Rebels. It's just that he disappears.
Yes.
So we don't know his exact location. So we don't know
his status.
Yeah, we don't know what's going on with him. Another character is, and I forgot the character's name, but the one from Jedi Fallen Order, because he lives at Cal Kestis. He's one also, because we know that he survived through the entire game.
And also, what if it was a dark side user?
That would have been a little bit unexpected if a Sith showed up.
Yeah, but it would have been.
You never know who he's contacting. Again, he does not have full control of his powers.
Yeah, which now if you haven't seen the episode, it's Luke that shows up.
Oh yeah, and it was a glorious
yes,
moment.
because they pulled a like father like son moment where Luke shows up to the ship, pulls up in his X-wing, and he's still wearing the exact same outfit that he wore in Return of the Jedi.
The black robes.
Yes.
The black flight suit.
And
black glove.
Yeah, the one black glove to hide his mechanical hand. And he just tears through the Dark Troopers like they were just normal stormtroopers. Mm-hmm. And it's very reminiscent of that scene from Rogue One.
Which Zeke just saw last night.
Part of it. I fell asleep.
No, but you saw that scene.
Oh, yeah, I did see that scene. Those weren't the Death Troopers. Those were human Death Troopers.
Those were
Troopers 1.0, not 2.0.
No. We're talking about the scene with Vader.
Oh, the hallway scene.
The hallway scene.
Hallway scene is what we're calling those.
The hallway scene, yes.
Yes.
All great episodes have a hallway scene. Just look at Daredevil, Star Wars, and now Mandalorian.
Daredevil sort of popularized it. Then we had Rogue One, where Vader just cuts his way through a bunch of rebel troops. Then there's a scene in season 7 of Clone Wars, which Zeke hasn't seen yet, so we're not going to specify, but Chris and Rode both know the scene in question. And now we had Luke just carving his way through the Dark Troopers.
Yeah, you're not good unless you do a hallway scene and do it right.
Yep.
But it was you can. So Baby Yoda has never seen Mando without his helmet on, and Luke tells Mando, he says he's asking for your permission to leave so he can go and finish his training, and he picks him up, and Grogu reaches up for his helmet, and I instantly went, oh, he wants him to take his helmet off because he's never seen him without it, except for that one little snippet where he lifted it up a little bit so he could take a drink.
And you can see Baby Yoda looking up, like trying to get a glimpse of it.
Yeah, and then when he met Bo-Katan and the other two members of Dark Watch, and they immediately took their helmets off, Baby Yoda just had that look like, you guys have faces underneath those?
Well, and there was also it's also sort of resonated with Return of the Jedi. Let me look on you with my own eyes.
Yeah. So, Mando just goes and immediately takes his helmet off and drops it, and I swear it looked like he was tearing up a little bit.
Well, yeah, because he's saying goodbye to his son.
Yeah. And I'm like, okay, well, he's obviously going to see him again later on. But we don't know how far down the road, because they did announce that there is going to be season 3 for Mandalorian, and then it's coming out next year along with the first spinoff, the Book of Boba Fett.
Oh yeah, and seeing Bib Fortuna, in that scene.
Fortuna looks like he's starting to turn into Jabba the Hutt.
Yeah,
He's Pizza the Hut.
No.
Take out for delivery.
Wanna be the Hut.
Wanna be the Hut.
But while we're talking like the upcoming series, Rode and I talked about this in the previous Mandocast, but we now know that they're going to be doing a new sequel trilogy. The previous one is now like going to be non-canon.
I've already been seeing it's the same YouTuber, the one that I sent you the link to about Jon Favreau taking over Kathleen Kennedy's position. They said that Daisy Ridley the role of Rey has already been recast.
I mean, she didn't do a terrible job in the role. It was just the scripts were not great.
It's what I keep saying. I was like, the only reason why you would blame the actors is if they put on a shitty performance. If the script is shitty, if everything about the movie is shitty, like if you go back and you watch Super Mario Brothers or the second Mortal Kombat film, I'm not blaming the actors one bit. I'm blaming the people that were essentially in charge of the film, because if you know what happened behind the scenes for Super Mario Brothers, John Leguizamo and what's his face who played Mario?
Bob Hoskins.
Bob Hoskins, thank you. Both of them were insanely drunk throughout filming because the directors just straight up pissed them off. And I know that when Mark Hamill read the script for The Last Jedi, he immediately looked at Rian Johnson and said, "I don't like the direction you're taking Luke in, but it's my job to put on the best performance possible for the movie." And that's what he did.
See, you think of those movies. I think of Batman Forever with Tommy Lee Jones and Jim Carrey. That's an action where the actors were really good, but
the script was horrible.
Yes,
and the script and direction was horrible. Yeah, but with the new sequel trilogy. But what Rode and I got to thinking about is with all these other series that they're also working on with Ahsoka and Acolyte and Rangers of the New Republic and everything. What if you set up Thrawn to be like the Thanos of Star Wars?
So what's the Infinity Gauntlet of Star Wars?
Well, not necessarily Infinity Gauntlet, but he doesn't necessarily step to the forefront until the sequel trilogy gets made.
I can see that. I can definitely see that because I know that they're also making another major return back to the original trilogy. At least I'm assuming this is going to take place during the original trilogy, is with Rogue Squadron.
Yeah. They are doing Rogue Squadron. Whether that's going to be revisiting the original trilogy or if they're going to be sort of right there, maybe partly with the original trilogy, but then into the post Imperial collapse thing. Not necessarily the same time as Mandalorian, but in that period between the two things.
I mean, they can literally do for that movie what they did with Rogue One, because I know in Rogue One they used unused footage from the original Star Wars in it.
Well, there you go.
So, and they made it work so well. Like the entire time, I was just like, I'm sitting there watching the movie, and I'm like, I seriously can't tell what's original and new.
They did a great job. Yeah.
Best editing I've ever seen in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Because literally, the only scene I knew that was actually part of the original Star Wars was when you actually see the Death Star coming up over the horizon.
Oh,
that is actually from the original Star Wars that they cut and just kept on the floor for later use. And to see it actually now presented, it's like, wow, that was cool. And it fit the moment. So, yeah, I can see them taking more stuff that they had on the cutting floor, adding it into the new trilogy, or just going all out and making something brand new. It's now open and in control of people who actually
care about the material
and care completely about Star Wars and not trying to drive any other agenda in it, just Star Wars. What the fans wanted from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And Jon Favreau was just like, because I remember J.J. Abrams when he started, or when he did Force Awakens, he said it's hard to appease to the older fans while you're trying to appease to the newer fans. Yeah. But Jon Favreau is like, hold my beer.
Yeah.
And he did it right.
This.
And this is how.
Let me show you how.
This is the way.
All I gotta say is less Jedi, more action, more gunfights, more bounty hunters, more everything else.
Yeah.
Well, now see, here's the thing. Talking way future in the Star Wars, I actually know exactly when you will probably lose your absolute shit. And it's still a Skywalker. It's actually the last Skywalker out there. And, yeah. All I have to say is he don't have a very good time at all.
Are we?
This is the twins?
No. This is way past the twins.
Oh.
This is when you start dealing with Darth Bane and the one, as I like to call it. Basically, the original Sith path is there's always two. Well, he threw that garbage out the window and said there is only one Sith. And there was him, and then there was his entire fucking army of Sith going after Ben
Skywalker?
Yeah.
Huh.
It was not a good fight for him.
So
he used lots of blaster because he was scared to shit of letting them get near him.
So this version of Ben is, well, he's obviously a Skywalker,
right?
But
this is
but is
this
he
would be as far from, if I can remember it right, he was Luke's great grandson.
Oh, so yeah, it is way down the line.
Yeah, it's way down the line.
Very down the line. I don't know that we'll necessarily get to that point.
They've been dying to try and find a way of doing that. Basically, they would like to get the Old Republic, which is way up front,
yep,
and go all the way to the back, because again, a lot of the people who read those books said, honestly, that's the best Star Wars since A New Hope that they've ever seen in their life. It just had so much drama, tragedy, and everything in it. And the fights were just completely lopsidedly over the top.
Yeah, I would love to see them try to tackle that.
Oh yeah, I would love them to get the ball rolling on the Old Republic, because that's just
there's a lot there.
There's a whole lot in there. You have everything you're looking for. Bounty hunters, because everyone's hiring everybody to just off each other.
I need one more thing. I need more British actors for over-the-top death scenes like we had in the Mandalorian.
He is still hung up on that.
Hey, the British know how to die, and they know how to make it really, really, really entertaining.
Do get the episode essentially starts off with them chasing like one of those like Imperial transport ships.
Lambda class shuttles.
Yes, the one that you see at the beginning of Return of the Jedi that transports the Emperor, and
they're going for the Doctor again.
Yeah, apparently the patch that he wears on his on one of his sleeves is from Kamino. So that means I think he was one of like the scientists that may or may not have been in the cloning facility during the Clone Wars.
They said he was a clone engineer.
Yeah, so he might have been one of the people who actually worked on one of the clones, or worked on the cloning project during the Clone Wars. And so they're after him, and the two pilots, they're both obviously, I guess one is younger than what the other one is. And while they're holding the scientist hostage, the one goes, wait, we could talk about this. I'm willing to work with you or whatever. And then the other pilot just shoots him in the back. And then when he shoots him in the back, the guy just goes, "Ah!" and falls.
We give this to Mandalorian.
It's just the way he does it, though. I mean, it's just like so over the top. And I'm like, wow, greatest death scene in Mandalorian right here. Right here, folks. Nothing will top this.
Star Wars needs to do a thing where every time at the end of the season, they have like a comical joke. 'Cause at the beginning of the first season, it was
the red versus blue moment with the scout troops.
and update yet? No, he just kills someone for interrupting him, and now we have the over the top death scene. They need to top that now too.
Yeah,
I like the fact that for that scene in for the season finale of season 1. Yeah, the two stormtroopers that were at the beginning of the episode were two. I think they were two comedy actors, or they were radio hosts.
They were comedians. Yeah.
Okay, so they were comedians. So them basically just going off on each other like that, with the lines that they had. I'm fairly certain they ad-libbed a lot.
They ad-libbed the whole thing because they was just like, keep it to this, but do it your way. And wow, yes, it's funny, but at the same time, you understand exactly what they're talking about because, this is the way.
Yep. And, of course, that scene also gave us a little bit of, like, darkness with them punching Baby Yoda in the face.
Yes, but then it paid off, and then when IG-11, the nurse droid, showed up and broke the one dude's hand and then took the other guy and beat the speeder with the dude.
I mean, and
it's not so much the fact that he picked the speeder up and smacked him with it. No, he smacked the speeder with the stormtrooper.
Yeah. Apparently he had something against that damn speeder.
He asked it out on a date and it said no.
You're too slow for me.
But then he gets on the other one and just goes to town, literally goes to town and shoots every stormtrooper that he sees on the way in.
While Baby Yoda is just, full on like dog with the head out the window.
He's got a big smile on his face. He's enjoying life.
Until the nurse droid goes, wait, I'm going to a gunfight with a baby in front of me, and then turns the torso behind him. That's better. Keep on shooting.
Bam, 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 bam.
He can turn his head around anyway, so he's good.
Like, every single part of him can rotate around on its axis. And, well, in this episode, the season finale also had the Dark Trooper versus Mando.
Yeah, and
talk about lopsided fights. I was watching a Tyson in his prime just saying, you know what? No. I mean, I understand Beskar armor is tough and strong, but my God, he's putting your head through the wall.
Yeah, your helmet, your head should have been bouncing around inside that helmet and reduced to the consistency of Jell-O.
Well, because of how strong Beskar is, apparently it can literally withstand several pounds of droid putting its fist into the helmet.
At speed.
Yeah, at speed, and not denting it, but the wall behind it is getting dented.
His head was literally halfway through the damn bulkhead.
And I'm guessing...
I'm sitting there wondering to myself, okay, I want to know exactly what's in that helmet that keeps your head from going...
There's cushioning inside of it.
Or
some serious cushioning.
Or Beskar has some vibranium qualities and can absorb vibrations.
Okay, but that still does not count for your head is inside this helmet that is being put through a damn bulkhead. Your head has got to be moved inside that helmet.
It's funny though because he uses everything that he has against this thing. He uses the flamethrower, The Dark Trooper just looks at him like, seriously?
No. When he shot him with the whistling birds, it's like...
That stung.
Hey. And then he hits him with the flamethrower.
No.
Really?
Well, no, the flamethrower came first, and he threw him across the room. Then there was the twittering birds, and he was just like...
Really?
That stung.
And then he uses the spear as like the last resort weapon, and that's what takes it out.
Like cuts like.
I missed the sniper. Too bad it was destroyed in the show.
Oh, yeah, the sniper. Yeah, well, that's probably what's going to be in Season 3. Him getting himself a new rifle and a new ship.
Yeah, he's got to run back into the armor. He's earned new gear.
It's like, all right, look, I need to give you. He needs to walk into her and be like, all right, here's all the shit that I just went through. I finished the mission, and
we captured Moff Gideon. I now have this Darksaber that I'm trying to give back to Bo-Katan, but she keeps looking at me like, God damn it, I have to fight you for this. And
then the rest of them are staring like, wait a minute, did you say Dark?
You have the Darksaber? You know, and then the armor is just going to look at Bo-Katan and be like, spit on the fake queen.
Hot pooey.
This is the way.
So it's funny because the entire time Mando is just, he's trying to give. I like how he's trying to give her.
I yield.
Yeah, he's trying to give her the Darksaber, and the entire time Moff Gideon is like, "Oh, yeah, you can't just simply do that. You have to lose it in combat." And Mando just goes, "I yield. Take the damn thing out of my hand now."
I don't want to leave.
I don't want this.
I don't get why they didn't just punch him in the face.
And he falls over in the story.
Yeah.
He doesn't have his helmet on. Hey, I won. Yay. No one's going to know the difference. I'm sure Luke's not going to say anything.
Luke is probably just going to be like, all right, well then, I'll go now.
I got my little youngling. Let's exit stage left.
Yeah.
See, I just want to see a deleted scene where R2 goes down the hallway and looks at all the cut up droids, and it's just seeing him just looking around like, God damn, I know exactly where he's at. But Jesus.
Imagine if Chopper were coming down that hallway.
Chopper would be laughing at every single one of them.
Wop, 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 wop.
But oh yeah, and Bo-Katan gets shot numerous times by Gideon, and she just disappears for the rest of the episode after that.
I think she was probably just unconscious. Most of it hit the Beskar.
Yeah, but still, I'm like, is she okay? Is anybody going to check on her?
No, she's good.
I'm not quite dead yet.
No, it's got to be like Megatron. I still function.
Beware, I live.
I'm coming for that damn sword.
Oh yeah, we also had the fight scene between Sasha Banks and Boba Fett.
Yes.
Well, first off, Boba and Bo are both shit talking each other. Where she's just like, he's like, this armor belonged to my father, and she goes, "Don't you mean your donor?" He goes, "Watch it, princess."
And she's like, "I've heard your voice thousands of times," and he just goes, "Mine will be the last one you hear."
And he and Sasha Banks get into a fight, and she uses her jetpack to give him a DDT.
A tornado DDT.
Yes. And I was like, wow, I read that she used a wrestling move in this episode, but this isn't the one I was expecting. I was honestly expecting something along the lines of like a Hurricane Rana or something. But the DDT,
German suplex.
Yeah, but the DDT was good.
And then they just ended with them both trying to burn each other to death with their
flamethrower versus flamethrower.
Flamethrower war. Who wins?
Yeah, and
I mean, but also at the same time, the look on the face of everybody in that cantina when two more
Mandalorians
walk in, and it's just like, you know what, we're all gonna die.
You saw them like,
because I mean,
avert your eyes, don't look them in the eye, don't look them in the eye.
The was like, yeah, my place is done. It's all over for me.
And really, all that got wrecked was one table.
Yeah, shockingly, that was literally the only thing that gets wrecked as a table. And that I can't remember who went through the table.
Sasha.
Okay, it was Sasha Banks that went through the table. Okay, yeah, they pretty much went full WWE in this one scene.
Devon, get the tables.
Yeah, we just needed Devon and Bubba to show up as like two more Mandalorians, and he just goes, "Get the table."
I mean, this episode had every single thing you could ever want in it. Surprise reveals.
All of season 2 had every episode had something that to get get longtime fans of Star Wars stuff to just be like, oh, I know that.
And this one, you have the true female Expendables group. Because they did all the work. They literally wiped the entire damn ship out. The only person left living on that ship was Moff Gideon and Baby Yoda. Everybody else was dead by that time.
Yeah, and it was like, yeah, but with like every episode, like the first episode of the season, we had Cobb Vanth in Boba's armor and the Crate Dragon. Yeah. Episode 2 gave us the spiders
from Rebels.
Yep. Episode 3 gave us Bo-Katan.
Give us back Bo-Katan.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, this is like every episode had another thing added to it. Then episode 4, he goes back to Navarro, and we saw everything.
That episode gave us Jeans Guy.
Jeans Guy. Now edited out of the episode.
No.
But it let Cara Dune show off again, and Carl Weathers also.
Yeah. And that episode was directed by Carl Weathers too.
Yep. Episode 5 gave us Ahsoka, and the name drop of Thrawn.
I have to ask one question about this. You're facing a Mandalorian, and you're going to try to pull a gun from your back. How smart are you?
Not smart enough. I mean, he fared better with the aliens.
And then I have a second question for you guys. Which is more scarier, walking and seeing a Mandalorian walking towards you, or staying still and hearing a lightsaber light up behind you?
Does the Mandalorian have the lightsaber?
We could actually see that in season 3.
I mean, the person who created the Darksaber was the only Mandalorian Jedi. That's who created it.
The Mandalore.
Yeah, and in Clone Wars, the Mandalorians, it was Death Watch, stole it back from basically the Jedi archives, and tried using it on Obi-Wan Kenobi, which obviously didn't work very well.
It's like, you are not a Force user. Yeah, you're using a lightsaber, but you're up against somebody who does this sort of thing for a living.
And, but yeah, the whole series gave us the first ever live action version of the Darksaber.
Yep. And then episode 6, Boba Fett.
The Return of Boba Fett.
Episode 7, we got Bill Burr back in, and it was, there maybe wasn't as much there to really pop longtime fans of Star Wars in general, but it was still a fantastic episode.
Oh, yes.
Was that fantastic the smuggling episode where they were trying to get the explosive items over the bridge?
Yes.
Okay.
It wasn't really smuggling, but yes.
I love the episode, because as I'm sitting there talking to the guys here, I'm like, the Mandalorian is cool and everything, how you can sit there and just, he'd be asked these questions, ask these calm answers, there's no way I can do this. And then you get the character that is my response. Hey, what are we going to drink to? Let's drink to this day where my troopers died. Every one of us died.
Yeah, and you can see Mando just glance over at him and just shake his head like, no,
shit,
don't do it. It's like, dude, let it go.
And that was one of the best things I've seen. Where he shot the guy and like, well, time to fight.
And then bam, 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 bam.
Like, yeah, I'm sorry, but he had to go.
Yeah, Valen Hess was terrifying in a completely different way, because he was one of the candidates for the believer of the episode.
I'm trying to think of like anything else that was awesome in this episode. I mean, granted, yeah, like halfway into the episode, when they finally got onto Moff Gideon's ship, Boba Fett just leaves the episode after that. We don't see him until like halfway into that credits. I'm about to shoot that droid over there.
Yeah, Vector is getting too excited over there.
I'm going to put the child to sleep. I'll be right back.
But, yeah, I mean, and again, all things Star Wars for me. One of the things I was rather impressed by is, again, Moff Gideon's ship is a Corvette. Right. You haven't seen Corvettes And matter of fact, you haven't seen a Corvette since the game Star Wars Squadrons, where they're starting to throw the Corvettes out, and you go charge again. So I'm like, hey, yeah, throw out some more.
Chris and I like to call his ship Spaceballs 2.
Mini ball.
But I mean, I like how, in terms of like the Empire, they're not going overboard with their ships like what Snoke's ship was in Last Jedi, where it was stupid huge.
Oh, the Mega Star Destroyer or whatever it was.
Well,
it's like he looked at Darth Vader's Super Star Destroyer and
the Executor
in Empire and Return of the Jedi, and it's like he looked at it and just said, "I want that, but wider."
No, it was clear.
Now the Executor had a purpose for it behind it as well. It was actually designed to draw the fire so the Star Destroyers could get in there and open fire as well, and the Corvettes could get behind it. It literally was why it was designed that way.
And I don't
know what Snoke was thinking. Snoke was thinking, and you know what? I want the biggest fucking ship out there.
I want to show that I have the biggest dick in the freaking galaxy right now.
I dare somebody to say something about my ship.
Yes, and somebody went to light speed and went through it.
Yeah, and it was awesome.
That was so awesome.
That was literally
that
like
was one of the
best
literally
scene in the whole movie.
You're like, hey, your big ship is not even fucking there. Ooh.
Yeah. And it was clearly based off like the wing ships that the Nazis had like designed but never ever built.
Yeah, they never did build them.
Oh, you mean like the one from
because they couldn't
Captain
fly.
America movie?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, they couldn't fly. That's why they just said, "Oh shit, we wasted so much time on this."
It's like, damn, this thing weighs too much.
Yeah, I mean, before you even put any fuel or bombs in it, the plane is not going to fly because it's too heavy. Yeah, I don't think we were thinking very well when we decided this.
Something about the Executor, though, just occurred to me. So, yeah, I get it that it's designed to draw the fire of the enemy because that's their main ship. We should target that.
Well, the only thing it really drew was an A-wing.
And that's my point. Why does a ship like that not have redundancies built in? So the main bridge gets taken out. Why is there not a backup bridge to keep the thing from suddenly listing to the side and crashing into the Death Star?
Well, here's the thing now. And it's the old... You got to understand about the Imperial ships. Literally, Star Destroyers, Corvettes, their transport ships, and their supply ships are the only ones that have shields on them. TIE fighters do not have shields.
They're all based off maneuverability.
Yeah, they're super maneuverability. Basically, that's the design of all their ships. But when it came to the Executor was the only one that had 4 different slots for its shields. And they were taking out all the shields. So by the time that one A-Wing said, yeah, you know what, I'm about to bite it, but I'm taking somebody with me. And he takes the prize, mind you. They had taken out all of the Executor's shields. There was no shields there, which was actually a feat in itself because normally you see the 2, which are always up there by the bridge, which again
horrible design.
Some seriously fucked up.
Yeah,
but the other 2 are actually inside the hangar bays on both sides. So you had to have somebody go in there and kamikaze literally those 2 to take out. And I'm sitting there like, the Death Star Part 2 had a better design than you guys. And it wasn't even finished yet. It put all the dangerous stuff in the end in the middle. You had to get to it by extreme hope and dreams of flying.
Yeah, but my point still stands about one bridge is taken out. Why is there not another bridge inside,
technically
armored?
Technically, there is. There's always... Actually, all the ships have a secondary location that you can fly from. The only way you know about this is from playing Old Republic games, they actually talk about the ship designs in there. And there's a secondary deck on all ships. The problem is, if you're up on that deck, why don't you have anybody down there on the second deck in case there's an emergency? Because it's never anyone down there.
It's kind of like, what was it, the ships, like the troop transport ships from Clone Wars, the Star Destroyers, and from that, they had the two bridges that were, for whatever reason, located literally right next to each other.
Yeah. Basically, if something happens to one bridge, you're supposed to be able to run right over and continue your duties on the second one. Yeah, if I get hit on this bridge, what makes you think the bridge on the other side isn't on fire already? Again, I see what you're on the right lines of thought, but damn, your design sucks.
It's like the in terms of Galaxy class starship in Star Trek, it has the battle bridge, where it's like, you know, when they do the saucer separation, like the main crew is supposed to go into the battle bridge while like the backup crew is taking over the saucer section. That way they can split like that. Yeah, I
still have a problem with that whole design for the simple fact that, okay, this very big target is trying to fly away. Hey, let's hit the saucer first. Fuck the battle bridge. It's got to come from underneath this big saucer to get to us. Stay on top of the saucer and just shoot it. Hey, we won.
So we're deciding that the people who design ships in Star Wars are retail management, correct?
Yes, yes, and I think Marvin is in charge of them. Zeke's losing his shit right now. You want to take this one?
We don't need AC. We don't need a secondary bridge. It's fine. Hey, the building's on fire. Just keep working, guys. We'll be good.
Oh, there's rats all over the place. Just keep working, guys. Oh, you got bit? Oh, you're fired.
Quality management, people.
And Zeke is losing his shit right now because he knows I'm right about all of this.
No, that rat that bit the employee has been promoted to management material because he bit the employee.
Because now he looks like the kid from Recess.
Templeton, you're going to go places in this organization.
Oh, my God. Employee of the month, employee of the year. The rat that keeps biting people. He's biting you because you're not working hard enough. That's why.
No, he's biting you because you're not paying attention.
Oh, my God.
But yeah, I mean, come on now. Yeah, and I know we're really ragging on the Imperials, but I mean, look at the designs for the Rebel ships. Oh my God, we're gonna have every single officer up in one area that's nothing but glass. Glass.
Well,
all around.
Well,
oh my God!
You're talking about the Resistance ship from in Last Jedi?
No, Jesus, I want to every single time I think about him, I just want to call him Fish Boy.
Akbar. Akbar.
Yeah, Akbar. Akbar's ship literally is
That's
the
true.
command ship.
The Mon Calamari.
Yeah, the Mon
ships.
Calamari designs are their capital class ships. The problem with the capital class ships, though, is it's designed by fish people who want to see everything. And literally, that's the design of the ship. It was designed so that they could see all around at all times. Well,
so they want their ships to be like a fishbowl.
Yeah, it is a fishbowl. It really is a fishbowl. But here's the real fucked up thing. So you know what they look like: long fish with a drop down tower that goes below. Well, here's the thing. Guess where the damn shield generator is? All the way down at the bottom of the tower, below, behind everything.
That's why during like the big battle scene in Rogue One, that's why all the TIE fighters were shooting at that one spot.
All the TIE fighters are down there shooting the hell out of that. The second that fin is gone, it's open season on all the commanders who are sitting there looking. And the TIE fighters are looking down and like, yeah, I see who I want. I want that little motherfucker who's trying to hide behind the desk right there. Yeah, I know you're up to something.
I like the one scene. Now, everybody talks about when the Hammerhead Corvette shows up and pushes the Star Destroyer into the other Star Destroyer. Yeah. But I like how when the Rebels are leaving after they get the Death Star blueprints, and they start leaving the area, the one of the ships turns to jump to hyperspace, and then Vader's Star Destroyer literally just jumps right in front of it, and the one small Rebel ship just crashes right into it.
And again, Vader's ship just keeps on going like, yep, we built ours the right way. We put extra armor on the front.
No, Vader's ship just went, I hit a what?
But yeah, no. Vader's ship said, hello there.
But, yeah, because I have, one day I have to bring this, actually, I'm coming back over next Saturday. I have a bunch of stuff I have to bring along with me so you can read. But I have the book designs on all the ships. And Vader's ships were unique. In the simple fact that, number one, his ships were designed, if they lost shields, it wouldn't matter because they had extra armor. Literally, the ship was extra big, but there's not that many crew on the damn thing because there's not enough room because there's so much armor on it. So when you looked at the Executor, you saw in the middle looked like all the structure.
It looked like a
but
city.
There was so much armor around it. And literally, that was it. The only area of basically population on that ship was the tower itself up into the middle section. The front section was actually where most of engineering and everything was. And I'm like, that's a smartish design, but still, stop putting the goddamn two of your shield generators up on the top of the tower where everyone can see it.
Do you remember in Empire Strikes Back when they had the Star Destroyers going through the asteroid field looking for the Millennium Falcon?
Yeah.
And the one Star Destroyer, like the whole tower bridge, gets wiped out with one asteroid.
And we remember that scene because it then cuts to Vader's ship where he's got all of the captains like on hologram, and you see one just go, and then the hologram, just vaporize.
And Vader's like, I don't care
about asteroids.
Sweep the field now. Find the Falcon. And I can see the captain's face like,
no, it's
you
like,
know what? I quit.
No, it's like going to, back to Spaceballs. We're sweeping the desert. Have you found anything? No. How about you? No. How about you? We ain't found shit.
They were combing the desert, not sweeping it. and the ones and it was the black troopers who had the fro pick.
We had the fro pick. You really were combing Dutch in the desert.
No, that was Tuvok. I'm not even joking. That was
really
the actor
Tuvok.
who plays Tuvok in Voyager,
which just makes it even funnier.
But yeah, I mean,
yeah. In case you can't tell, we are all geeks who love Star Wars.
Yeah. I'm
Zeke a little bit less.
Zeke is falling. Zeke is falling into our path.
I like Star Wars, just don't like Jedi because Jedi are broken as hell.
Okay, we don't. You don't have to worry about the Jedi. We have so. Do you not understand? Every single person that shows up in Star Wars has a back history, a rich back history. You can just walk up to the screen with your eyes closed, pick somebody. They have probably a 20-year history backing them up.
You see, it's like that's one of the things.
And then there's bounty hunters. You have your bounty hunters.
It's like that's one of the things that I liked about the movie Solo is that I said I love this movie simply because, like, yes, it has nothing to do with Jedi or Sith. There's no real Force users in it, save for one cameo.
Yeah, I know.
And that was it for it. But for the most part, it's a smuggler story. That's all that movie is, and that's one of the things that I like about it. I know the movie gets a lot of heat because of everybody is just like, oh, well, the actor looks nothing like Harrison Ford, doesn't sound anything like him, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, do not see the actual story is the fact that it's supposed to be showing
the story. The story is good. You could actually get away with it not even being a Star Wars story.
Exactly.
It's just I had a few little gripes with it, but other than that, it's actually a decent story if you just don't put in your mind who it's really attached to.
I don't know why, but for some reason, certain parts of the movie, I just don't know why, but certain parts of the movie reminded me of Blade Runner, and I think
it did. Especially in the beginning.
Yeah, that was mainly it. Was the beginning scenes when it was on Han's home planet, and it just reminded me of Blade Runner.
When you and again, you're going into my territory because this is Blade Runner, cyberpunk. That's another aspect that I live and breathe. But in terms of that kind of dystopian landscape, the predominant vision is Blade Runner, cyberpunk, and what was the third one? Necromancer. Those three combine to form your dystopian platform. Everybody feeds off of that because you can't get any shittier than that. That is your future, and it is shit. Behold.
And I'm fairly certain that's what they based Han's home planet off of, was the environment from Blade Runner.
Yeah, it literally was. You were in the lower level streets of Blade Runner. And quite honestly, I actually envision Blade Runner's future as being the start of what could have been going into the Old Republic. People finally get fed up and have moved further away from the shithole that is.
Yep, and then the cities start overtaking the planet and building up until you get Coruscant.
Yeah, Coruscant is the final version of Blade Runner. Literally, that's Lucas's words. He said, "I saw Blade Runner and I said, wow, that's a really fucked up design. Let me see if I take it to the further max." And he did. And literally, the two directors just looked at each other's designs, and they still, to this day, laugh their asses off because they recognize each other's works in it. And they said, this is what it starts off as. This is what it ends it. Because, literally, all you have to do is, once you leave the surface of Coruscant and start going down, hey, I see Terrell's tower.
See, it wouldn't surprise me if George Lucas in like the prequel trilogy, if he threw in references to Blade Runner in just the Coruscant scenes alone. Actually, no,
well, here's a fun fact, and most people will probably freak out about it. Cyberpunk actually gives homage to Blade Runner and the start of Star Wars too, because it literally says itself, we are the groundwork. The future is going to be coming from us. You're going from us into these futures. Because everyone has to escape from one point, and it is this dystopian crud.
It's like when we see Ahsoka again in Clone Wars in the final season, when we finally get back to seeing her again.
Yeah, she's fallen down into that area. And she's not all the way down to where the start is, but she's close enough that she's like, holy shit, this is nothing like what was up there. What the fuck is this? She did not understand anything that was going on down there, and she kind of found it hard to believe that she's still on the same planet that she's been on for all this time, and yet this is what it's like down here where the light doesn't shine. And the two girls that she meets are like, yeah, it gets worse as you keep going down.
See, that's one of the things that pissed me off about 1313 being canceled, because I know that in that game you're supposed to explore more of that particular area.
You go beyond.
Yes.
And one of the nice things is they are talking about, they've already said they're bringing that back. They've hunted down all the people for it.
Because they realized they screwed up by canceling it.
Yeah, we know who we know who actually gave the order to cancel it. But while we have our Messiah, John has saved us and is bringing it back. Saint John.
Saint
John is for us.
Actually, you know what? I can't say that because John St. John, the voice of Duke Nukem, used that as his theme song for. It's the Aerosmith song. He uses that song for himself, where the song is called Saint John. And so I think we guys call him Saint Favreau from here on out.
Saint Fav.
Saint Fav.
Yeah, as I said in the previous Mandocast with Road, Jon Favreau has given Star Wars fans hope again.
Yes,
rebellions are built on
the
hope.
New hope.
You see, like I was telling Jay this, and I want to know your thoughts on this one, Road. So there's a director. I would like to see his take on the Star Wars universe. He can do maybe just 1 or 2 episodes for season 3,
or any other,
or whatever. He's directed a few episodes of Star Trek Discovery. He did some stuff for Orville. I want to see Jonathan Frakes take on the Star Wars universe.
Oh my God. Oh.
But I want to see a trade-off here. I want to see Jon Favreau do a couple episodes of Discovery and Picard.
This may have to happen.
Yes.
Just to get the idea from their side of the fence on.
Because believe it,
you know what?
Here's
the thing. I'm surprised no one has approached Jonathan Frakes yet about doing this, because every single time they give him directors, let him get his directing chops on Star Trek, they say he gets this little gleam in his eye, like he's a little kid in the candy store, and what does he do? He runs back and reads Star Trek comic books to get an idea of what he wants to do. I want to see him, all right, you want to read up on something? Here's a bunch of Star Wars comic books. Come up with something for us. And let's see what he does. Because I'm pretty sure he has a sci-fi mind.
Oh, yeah, he does.
I think he's living in sci-fi, because sometimes if you see him walking around, he looks like he's spaced out and hasn't come back from wherever he is.
No, those are just the ideas flowing. He's just trying to keep them all in. He's trying to keep them all contained.
I would love him to do that. Also, heard through the grapevine, he's also a Warhammer fan, so oh God, if he's a 40K fan, we know there's something lurking in that mind that can go crazy.
But you know what I like though is that in both in some of the Star Trek movies, and I think it's strictly in the prequel trilogy, and it's in either episode 1 or 2 that they do this. But at one point in time when they're in Palpatine's office, if you pay close enough attention outside the window as you see all of the vehicles and shit flying by and all the ships, one of the ships is the Enterprise D.
Yes, it is actually a known fact. They snuck that in there as a little treat.
Now
again, the whole idea of Star Wars versus Star Trek, no, it's not. There's no versus between them. They actually love each other for a fact, and they actually do tiny little nods back and forth to each other all the time.
Well, I know that in Star Trek First Contact, the Millennium Falcon has a cameo in that movie.
Yeah.
And it's doing a strafing run on the Borg cube during the big battle sequence. It's in the background, it's literally a blink and you'll miss it, but you literally have to Google it, go on Google and type in Millennium Falcon Star Trek First Contact, and you'll see where it's at. It's really small.
It's a quick scene, but if you look at it, you cannot deny it's there because it's blatant as hell.
Yeah,
and it's funny.
And R2-D2 is in the first 2 J.J. Abrams Star Trek movies too.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how the hell somebody managed to spot him in the 2009 film, because it's literally like he's in like a pile. He's in like all the debris outside Vulcan, and you just see him fly by like, the view screen like that. Probably going. Probably. It's like, which ship were you on?
Just in case you couldn't hear me on the mic, it's like you going, R2 just sound by going, "Wah!" As he does.
Yeah, the noise the little scream that he makes.
Oh my God. Oh, but yeah.
But George Lucas did openly admit that Star Trek was one of the influences for him to make Star Wars.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great influence to have, and it's no problem of building off of it. And what he built is unique in its own, and I'm glad that Roddenberry and Lucas can get along as well as they do. Fans don't seem to, but hey.
Yes,
fans are always a little bit hard.
Yeah, but then you have the people like me that are like the ones who like grew up with both franchises.
Yeah, I had no choice. It was one of those things of sit down and be quiet. All right, let me find something for you. Here, watch the first Star Trek movie. Yes. All right, that kept you quiet. Here, watch the first Star Wars movie. Yes. And literally, that would be my weekend. I would wake up, watch cartoons. If the weather was bad and I couldn't go outside, my mom had already lined up what was going to be watched. You're watching A New Hope. You're watching
Wrath of Khan,
and
Empire Strikes Back.
That will keep you quiet. Well, at that time, during the year, I think I was like maybe 4 or 5. We had a real bad summer where it was like raining almost all summer long, so you couldn't go outside.
So it was just a mass movie marathon of Star Trek and Star Wars.
Yeah, and that's how she kept me quiet, except when I would not pay attention and walk outside and go flying through the mud and stuff with my friends, and then she had to come out and get me.
This makes a little bit more sense how messed up you are. You've been watching Wrath of Khan since you were a little kid.
I've been watching.
I'm serious. I was the first day Wrath of Khan came out. Me and my mother were sitting there, and it was one of those things of we watched it 3 times that day because there was nothing. She like, I got nothing else to do, and I got all these. Bonus tickets from work because she worked the movie theater. She's like, let's just sit around and eat popcorn all day. I'm like, all right, cool. What's playing? Wrath of Khan.
That's it.
Okay, this Star Trek. Let's check it out. And I was hooked right as soon as I saw just how quickly the Enterprise got taken out. I'm like, this is the best movie. Oh God, do it again.
But back to Star Wars though. Back to Mandalorian. I gotta say, I think about. I just want to say, I think of my favorite moment of this, and it pissed Zeke off. I have to bring this up. Is when Mando took out the one Dark Trooper, and then he opened up the bay door and sucked them all out into space. And Zeke is sitting there. Zeke, do you mind?
What kind of design flaw is this? We're going to put a million budget project with all these Death Troopers in how we get airlock right next to them. Why? Why would you put an airlock next to these things?
And then when they get to the bridge, and they're just like, yeah, there's a bunch of signals coming from outside, entering the ship. Do you read any life signs? Not a single one. And that's when I was like, oh, yeah, they can fly.
And that's why they put them in an airlock, so they could be deployed that way. Against when they're close to an enemy ship, open the hatch, deploy the Dark Troopers.
Yeah.
And then they fly out, punch their way into the enemy ship, and kill everybody.
I'm sorry, that's what really, really just trips me out. How they just like, you know what, we're not going to bother with having lasers. We're going to punch our way in.
Yeah,
let them know we're coming.
That's the one thing
punch.
That's one of the things that I noticed was that, yeah, they carried blasters with them, but they didn't really use them.
No, they like to punch.
Well, they wouldn't use the blasters necessarily on bulkheads because the bulkheads are too tough for those blasters to punch through.
Right, but I mean, if punching through bulkheads is what you can do, why bother even having a blaster? Just run around and punch everybody to death.
Especially when they're that resistant to small arms fire.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I'm gonna kill you now. Come here.
You set me on fire.
I'm going to punch you.
I did bring this scenario up though. I said, what if we take just one Dark Trooper and put him up against a Cylon? Who would come out?
Toaster fight.
I want to do the Dark Trooper versus the T-800, I think it was.
Yeah, it was a T-800 Model 101.
All right, we're having a three-way.
Cyberdyne Systems Model 101.
Terminator versus Dark Trooper versus Cylon. Who will win? Who will lose? Who will care? Hell, there's no emotion there, so there won't be any trash talking, just straight punching and shooting.
Oh, yeah, that's the thing, though. No weapons other than fists.
Oh, God. I mean, and when it comes down to it, all three of them are two equals.
On the next death battle.
I mean, at the end of this battle, everybody's punched into the floor. I mean, of course the T-1000 can punch through, like, metal. Already seen it. We already know what the Death Trooper can do. And hell, Cylons have done the same damn thing. They've punched through the goddamn Galactica to get inside. Oh, God, it's just going to be, everyone's just going to be a slab of goo on the floor.
No, but then they're just going to look at each other, nod at each other, and then work together.
Wait a minute. We need to kill humanity. Let's get it on.
And the end of the world happened by a death battle versus Z3.
And this is how Cyberdyne is actually created. God. But another thing that, like, is always mentioned over and over again, and I see nothing actually wrong with it. The Mandalorian is honestly a homage to Yojimbo and the Iron Fortress. And
it was the Hidden Fortress.
Yeah, Hidden Fortress. I always call it Iron
that's
Fortress.
Star Wars, not just Mandalorian. Star Wars, the original one, was based off the Hidden Fortress.
Yeah, and I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. These are classics in themselves, and you have what we now have, our modern classics, based off the original classics.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with paying homage to things. And it's not necessarily ripping off.
And it goes to show, Akira Kurosawa's family, oh God, they love The Mandalorian, and they have stated it outright
because of the Yojimbo references,
the Yojimbo reference,
the Seventh Samurai reference in the Sanctuary episode,
even a nod of Lone Wolf and Cub.
Lone Wolf and Cub, yeah.
I mean,
yeah, we were talking about that.
It is a big homage series, and everyone from the original series are like, "Thank you," and this is actually rather beautiful.
It is such a good series, and I've said this many times before. You don't need to be a Star Wars fan to
watch and like it.
To watch and like it.
So yesterday when I got to work, one of my coworkers asked me, she's like, well, how's your day been? I was like, oh, it was good. I woke up and I watched the season finale of Mandalorian and went and got lunch at Red Robin afterwards. And she goes, oh, well, how was that show? Because I haven't seen any of it. I was like, it's really good. I said, you don't need to be a Star Wars fan to like it. But it helps. And I said that, yeah, you can literally sit down and watch it. Granted, you're going to have questions on who certain people are, because you're just going to be like, oh, well, who's this person, blah, 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 blah. She goes, okay, so I can sit down and watch it. I said, yes, you can.
It is a modern-day Western.
Yeah. I got one of my coworkers in it who's a good 10 years older than me. To watch it. He's already a Star Wars fan, so he knows like all the movies. And he and I were talking about Mandalorian because he asked me. He was like, "Is that a movie?" I'm like, "No, it's a TV series on Disney Plus." And and I sat down and told him all about it. I was like, it takes place 5 years after Return of the Jedi. The Empire is still in it, but it's more like what remains of the Empire. It takes place like 40 years before Force Awakens does. And I sat there and I told him, I was like, dude, it's literally like a Western, and it's got the samurai influences on it. And I told him, I was like, dude, you need to watch it. If you're a Star Wars fan, definitely check it out. If you're not a Star Wars fan, definitely check it out, because it'll probably make you change your mind on Star Wars. Because, you don't have the Force users, save for Baby Yoda, who, he every time he uses the Force, he falls asleep afterwards.
And we're going to, next season is definitely going to, they are going to have a bit of a hurdle to overcome to basically prove that this is The Mandalorian, not the Baby Yoda show.
Because we don't think Baby Yoda's going to be in season 3, and if he is, he's probably not going to show up till like the very end.
Yeah.
Can you say time skip?
I mean, I wouldn't mind a bit of a time skip, but then you're going to have a lot to explain about what happened after Baby Yoda walked out the door. What Din Djarin did with regards to Bo-Katan and the Darksaber and everything. And yeah,
I can already see what the running plot is going to be for season 3. Mando's on the run from Bo-Katan. All he wants to do is give it back to her, but she's got to fight him for it.
Every single Mandalorian is out for him. Cue John Wick music.
Yes. Oh my God, yes.
Don't look at me. I had nothing to say to that. I agree with that.
Okay, you just took the mic.
He passed it to me. I'm like, okay, I'll hold it. I like holding the mic.
I mean, but yeah, season 3 I think is probably going to focus on the Mandalore plot, not both with regards to the Darksaber and Bo-Katan and the other Mandalorians that are out there, and whether or not they can retake Mandalore.
See, I like that idea, because that means hopefully my favorite Mandalorian will show up in this.
Sabine?
Yes, bring her back from Rebels.
Who? Okay. So if you were to bring her in, who would you get to play her? Would you get her voice actress to play her?
That'd be kind of cool, but to be honest with you, I mean, they've done really good jobs in getting good actors for every role. Well, so I wouldn't care.
Katie Sackhoff already voiced Bo-Katan in Clone Wars and Rebels, and the fact that she pretty much looks like the character in every way, like not just in terms of like the way they made the outfit look, the hair, her face.
The character was actually designed off of her. So,
oh, really?
Yeah. So. It was her to begin with. It was hers no matter what. The good question, though, for Sabine is actress.
This is her.
Yeah, that her voice actress. Yeah, I could see her pulling that off. If you are after some big name, again. Sabine was she was very tiny. You could probably get somebody like, I don't know, like Ariana Grande?
She's going to need some serious acting chops and to sit there and watch all of Star Wars Rebels just so she knows who she's playing.
Yeah, pretty much. But I mean, yeah, you can find somebody out there. There's always someone out there that can actually portray anyone. It's just... you gotta look for them.
Well, it's like when they announced that Ahsoka was going to be in Mandalorian, and
we knew who that was.
Yeah, and
there was no question on that.
And when they announced Rosario Dawson as who's going to be portraying her, I immediately went, perfect casting right there, because not only does she look like the way Ahsoka would probably look, years later down the line, but she's also the exact same age as that Ahsoka would be at that time also.
That, and also she was her diehard blood-curdling fan and was not going to let anyone else touch that part except her.
I know.
I think she was ready to camp outside and like fight anybody who came in there saying, "Yeah, I'm playing a soccer." No, you're not.
No, she pulls out the lightsabers right there
and beats you upside the head with it. No, you are not. I am her.
But yeah, I mean, I would honestly say that season 2 definitely ended on a great note, especially with the stinger during the credits, where Boba Fett goes back to Jabba's palace and finds Pizza the Hut. I mean, I'm sorry, not
Yes.
Pizza the Hut, Bib Fortuna, but he's gained so much weight.
It is. I'm telling you, it's Pizza the Hut. It is Pizza the Hut.
Take out for delivery.
And then him and Baby Mama just like, yeah, we've taken over. It's ours.
Yeah, Fennec Shan just sitting on the arm of the throne like a gangster's maul.
With her drink in her hand.
With a bottle of spotchka in one hand and her gun in the other.
And I'm like, yep, I'm
like
ready
a gangster's
for the book.
maul.
I'm ready for the book of Boba Fett.
And Boba doesn't say a word, just sits down and just is like, this is mine now.
One of the things
I dare you to do something about it.
One of the things about not being a hardcore Star Wars fans, I got to see all the memes and have no idea who they were. So like when I saw Daddy Fett, I'm like, who the heck is that? That's a strange looking. And then I watched the Mandalorian, like, oh my god, that was Boba Fett. How did I miss that? What? How?
Yeah, or somebody called him Dad Bod Boba. Well, because people were complaining like, oh, why does he look fat, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, he's wearing like extra layers, right? Because somebody posted a photo of his actor outside of the show wearing normal clothing, and he's not fat at all. He's in really good shape. It's just that, like I said, it's because of like the layers that he was wearing in the episode. That's the reason why it looked like he was stacked on a few pounds. Because I was like, yeah, it's the cloak that he wears.
And it's just like, even if it weren't the cloak, it's Boba Fett. That's probably muscle. He got that muscle gut going.
Oh, and I found out that the extra weaponry that he was carrying in that episode where he got his armor back was all based off the toys. Like the knee launchers and everything. Yeah, like all the extra weaponry was stuff that the figure had.
I still remember my doll that I had of Boba Fett, and it was like, yeah, he's got the knee launcher, da da da. And then when I see it actually using it, like, knee launcher, yes, you remembered. Because everybody knows about the flamethrower, but do they know about the knee launcher? Because I was that guy running around with my little doll every single time somebody wants to fight. And they're bringing out their stab Obi-Wan, and I'm like, nah, knee launcher to the face.
Did he have his original blaster from the original movies?
Yes.
No, not the figure, but in the episode where he got his armor back. Because I remember in
his blaster was a custom, and it was extra long. So, no, it wasn't his original blaster.
Okay, I didn't know if or not they found a way to like bring that back, or if maybe that was too damaged because of the fight over Jabba's not his palace, but his little his. I was going to say his personal bar.
Literally, Luke cut that in half. So
that's right. Because I remember in Return of the Jedi when they were in Jabba's palace, he was cradling that damn thing like it was a baby.
Yeah. It was his baby.
And then Luke cut it in half.
Weapons are not just religion to Mandalorians. They are baby.
I still want to know where he gets the extra rockets from. Because every time he shoots that rocket, they never show.
It's video game logic, dude. He shoots one and it just automatically appears.
It was on a cooldown timer. Same as Mando's whistling birds.
Well, he used up his whistling birds, according to Moss Gideon. He's like, nah, I know you used them all up. I know everything.
Well, I mean, he's used them like 3 times throughout the show's run.
Yeah, I know. It's just like, but Moss Gideon knows. You're out. When Moss Gideon says it, it has to be.
You can only cast whistling birds once per day.
All right, Zeke, I got to ask you this one. All right, since you did your own personal binge of the entire series, of season 1 and 2. What was your favorite moment from season 1?
You already know the answer to that one.
What was it?
It was, what's taking any progress? No, he just shot the guy for interrupting him.
He likes the comedy more.
If I'm going to take the comedy out, my favorite one for season 1, I really liked when he brought the prisoner back, and I was a little mad by this one because he's hired for a mission to release I guess the crazy snake lady hair woman, I don't know what her name was, brother, and he puts some ore in the prison cell, which we don't know at this point in time, and he's like, you have to complete the job. So he brings the guy back to the base, and he pours out, and I'm sitting there going, Mando's going to shoot this base up, he's going to destroy this, and I'm like, okay, this is going to be awesome. He backs up, doesn't do a fucking thing. I'm like, wait, what? And then they drop that little clip where he has the homing beacon on him. And I'm like, oh, that was so perfect.
And the 3 X-Wings with the 3 directors from season 1 show up and blast it.
Yep, that was so good. I'm like, okay, that was pretty cool. And then season 2, I really have to go the Ahsoka route. I mean, I'm not a big fan of Jedis, but the fact that she is not your stereotypical Jedi, kind of helped with that one.
She didn't finish her training. She just said, "I'm out."
Yeah, and then the actual fight, the fight scenes from on top of that, the stupidity of the one guy with the shotgun. It's like, I'm going to take my shotgun and put it down and think I'm fast enough to beat this man by pulling a gun from the back of my back. No, it doesn't work that way. But I do want to know about the Chinese guy. Because the Chinese guy is like, we can't talk. He's the only one that talks to the whole town. Goes, don't talk to us, please. And then they free him. He was the leader of the town.
I had to find out about that one.
Apparently, he was the previous magistrate before she moved in.
Yeah.
Also, there's a couple of nods in there that you don't realize, but the magistrate that was fighting Ahsoka, that is actually Bruce Lee's goddaughter.
We've covered
which is
this
why that fight scene was so brilliant, but also the new magistrate that they hired on, that was her grandfather.
The Chinese guy?
Yeah, that's her grandfather.
Nice. I did. That was something that I didn't know.
And also, apparently, he was in one of the original movies.
Huh.
Who did he play?
Yeah.
I don't know yet. I'm trying to find information on that, but that was just a little drop that they had on Star Wars line about little details. And I'm sitting there like, okay, so that's oh, he was in the original trilogy. Okay, which of the million characters was he?
Which guy was he in the cantina? Which one was he in Jabba's palace?
Made up was he?
Please, in the comment section, if you know the answer to this question, so we can find the answer of this man, please put it in the comments below.
Please, we need help. There's too many characters to go through.
Stormtrooper number 400 something.
Well, no. It's all you always
He
want
was
to
TK421.
You always want to default to stormtroopers because it's the easiest thing. But actually, I would be surprised if he was probably like one of the bounty hunters at Boba Jabba the Hutt's place, because there was a lot of actors, big name actors who were actually in that scene, and they don't actually talk about it because, again, you couldn't tell because everyone was heavily made up. But yeah, in the overall all the scenes of Jabba the Hutt, there was literally somewhere around 75 well-known actors in that scene, all heavily made up and portraying characters, but you don't know who they all were.
I mean, it's like Daniel Craig's cameo in...
Exactly. How you didn't even know it was Daniel Craig because even in the Stormtrooper suit, you couldn't hear the voice. So you couldn't tell it was him to begin with.
Yeah, supposedly the fans named him JB007.
It's just like fans named the the stormtrooper with the electro nightstick thing that Finn fought. They named him TR8R.
And apparently that trooper is actually somebody famous as well.
Did you know Kevin Smith had a line? He provided the voice for one of the stormtroopers in Force Awakens. Like they told him, they're like, look, just read this line and then we'll insert it somewhere in the movie. He read the line, they actually did insert it, and he said that he actually sat there in the audience throughout the credits waiting for his name to pop up. He was just like, yeah, if you had told me like 20 years ago that I would be in a Star Wars movie, I would call BS on it, and then there's my name in the blue.
Oh, so much wind.
So I'm pretty sure we're getting close to wrapping this up.
We are getting close to the hour-and-a-half mark, so we do need to sort of wrap this up.
I do want to ask this out of the veterans. In Season 3 of The Mandalorian or the Boba Fett book, what would you want to see if anybody was coming in or story plot-wise?
So let's say if I don't care which show he gets brought into. If they bring Han Solo in, I would say to bring in the guy who played him in Solo. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce his name. The guy who played him in Solo, but obviously do the whole aging process or whatever, and make him up to look like Harrison Ford in that time period. If anything, all they have to do is be like, okay, watch Return of the Jedi over and over again until you get into the mindset of Han Solo from this time period. You know, like with him falling in love with Leia and all that shit, and him realizing, oh, Luke's her brother.
Let's see. For me, I'd have to go with the Book of Boba Fett. I really want to see a reunion of all the bounty hunters that were on
from Empire.
Yes, all of those bounty hunters reunited and going out on a mission, because every single one of them was a true badass. They were the best of the best, which is why they were all there. I want to see all of them in action one time.
See, there's one character that they need to bring in from Star Wars, the Star Wars Legends. And I know that, you know, after, you know, his little story, he said that he was done fighting the Empire and all that stuff, you know, but he's still a smuggler. I want to see Dash Rendar.
Yeah, that would be cool. That would be real cool.
Hondo.
Yes.
Hondo needs to be given a live-action version.
So for like the little like pirate episode where they had to sneak onto the planet to get the information from the Imperial computer to find where Baby Yoda was being held at.
Yeah.
Those like pirates or whatever that showed up, I swear I thought Hondo was going to be one of them, and I was hoping to hear his voice at some point in time.
Just, you know, he could be in either one, Mando Season 3 or Book of Boba Fett, but have Hondo show up. And if it's in The Mandalorian, just, you know, Mando walks into some bar or wherever where he is, he's just like, hey, Mando, it's good to see you, you know, sort of thing. You know, just hearing that voice.
Seriously, that would just be the ultimate.
Hondo, I want Hondo in live action. Period. Full stop.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with that one, too, because that would just be too epic.
Yeah. But, yeah, we're coming up on the hour-and-a-half mark here, so we need to wrap this up. I think we've hit a good point where we sort of tapped out of a couple of most topics for now. Obviously, Rode, if we're going to have another Star Wars Ramblecast at some point, we're definitely going to get you in, because you know your stuff.
Oh, man, I love this stuff. I live for this stuff.
Zeke?
So next time on Bingecast, Rhodes versus the Relic of Knowledge. Who will win the
Road versus the Relic of Knowledge. I think they're about even.
I challenge you.
But so for Rode, Zeke, and Chris, I'm Jay. Thanks very much for joining us for this Wrapcast for The Mandalorian, and we'll see you in Season 3.
Thanks for listening to a Bored to Death Mandocast. Be sure to check out all the episodes of The Mandalorian on Disney Plus and give us a like and subscribe. This is the way.